And I think now we're live, hopefully. So good afternoon, everyone. Today is the Zoom for Beginners session. So we're going to go through everything about Zoom, basically. We're going to have a look at all the different apps. So I've already got a window display open for a mobile. So if you guys were in the WhatsApp session yesterday, sort of went through how to download the different the WhatsApp on the different devices. And also, I think we did a little bit of the setup as well, in terms of putting your phone number in that. You won't need that for today. It's going to be more possibly a Google account, possibly an email address, but we're going to have a little chat about that. Just need to turn my phone on to silent, which is a rookie error, but there you go. There you go, it's on silent now. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. How are you, Andy? You alright?
I'm good.
Yeah.
So welcome to today's How to Set Up Zoom. And I'm joining you live from my home, which, like lots of you in Sunderland at the moment, has now become our workplace, our school, our gym, a kind of arts class. I have to say it hasn't become a very regular gym, but that's just me.
Not yet.
No, not yet.
We've got plenty of time. I think we've got a few weeks.
No. So my name's Andy, and I'm a development worker for Sunderland People First. And we're really delighted to be working with Media Savvy to hopefully support people stay connected during this difficult time. So one of the things that's been brilliant over the last few weeks is seeing how services, organisations and the voluntary and community sector across Sunderland have all come together to support each other and our communities across Sunderland at this time. And we're hearing stories every single day about people going the extra mile. So a massive thank you to everyone who's doing an amazing job. So just a bit of background. 2 weeks ago, I was probably the most, I was just really bad at technology, and I'm still really struggling. So we have had to adapt really creatively and use different ways of engaging with our team. So Sunderland People First is an advocacy group for people with a learning disability and people with autism and families in Sunderland. And we went from 1 week where we were delivering training, we were doing lots of engagement work, we were going out and meeting people, doing lots of our kind of core work, which is about training, quality checking, raising awareness of campaigns, to the next week having to contact people, speak to people online and try and find different ways of connecting, which is where Zoom came in. So over the last couple of weeks particularly, we've been using Zoom daily to connect with our team, to share funny stories. I'm hopefully going to be allowed to share another joke at the end of this, although I'd rather doubt I will be after yesterday.
Yesterday went so poorly, I'm a bit worried.
Well,
I'm personally, after my joke, feeling a little bit fragile.
Yeah. So we're going to put Haytham on the spot with a couple of his favourite jokes. But it's really, really important at the moment that people learn about new ways of staying connected. So just as an example, my wife's parents are in their 80s and we've supported them to stay connected through Zoom. And that's been really, really important that people get an opportunity to see friends and family online. So accompanying this tutorial today, we are going to create some links for Easy Read. I know Lizzie's on the call. So if they're not up to scratch, I know that Lizzie's going to be right in touch, which is what we want, because we always say the best people to get advice from about easy read information are people with learning disabilities and people with autism. So Lizzie, I know you're on the call. Just get in touch if the links and the information is not accessible. So welcome to the tutorial, and I'm going to hand you over to Haytham, who's hopefully give us some technical advice. And we'll take it from there. Any questions? It's really, really important. This is live streaming at the moment, and obviously, it's going to be recorded. If you have any questions during the chat, welcome, Matthew. please just ask, because that's what we're here for.
Yeah, so I did put it in just before, but if anyone has any ideas as well, obviously Matthew was just saying it's been really useful to keep in touch, keeping everyone thinking positive as well. So anything like that, any stories you've got about, you've used it to stay in touch, or, Fraser's saying the police engagement team are also working from home, so it could be something you're doing professionally, it could be doing something you're doing with like your family or your friends, and sort of staying connected that way. So any stories are good as well. I'm going to do a brief run through. So like I said before, anyone who was in the stream yesterday, I did a brief run through of the different mobile devices, how to install the app. I've got a little bit on signing up, and that bit might be a bit technical, just because there's a few different ways to do it. Equally, if there's something we don't cover on the stream today that you've got a question about, I will make sure my email is in the chat and the description of the video, and just give me a shout, and I should be able to get something to you. Equally, Andy, I know you're blowing your own trumpet now because you're all tech savvy now, so you might be able to give them a hand as well in terms of signing up.
Oh, don't go too far.
Okay, we'll not quite sign you up as a digital tutor yet, but your time will come. Cool. So just to start then, I will do the little run through on both the phones. So I've got an old version of my iPhone here. So as you can see from yesterday, I've installed WhatsApp. I'm just going to do it the same, but to install Zoom this time. So I'm going to head over to the App Store, and I open it up, and literally, so the first screen you come to, you get to search for different apps. In the top, you want to search for Zoom, and just press search in the bottom right. Now, it might have a slightly different name on some of the app stores that you have, but what you're looking for is that Zoom icon. So that one at the top there is the Zoom icon, and it's called Zoom Cloud Meetings. And I believe it's the same on the Android one, but we'll find out in a short while anyway. But if I click get on that, it will, as it does with all apps, it'll probably ask you to sign in. So I will just quickly sign in. This will depend on the settings on your device, but usually it'll either prompt you for a password, might ask for your thumbprint, might ask for your Face ID. And once you've passed that little check, it should start downloading. Yeah, so that one's going. It's a fairly small app as well, so it shouldn't take up too much space on your device. And then once it's downloaded, just click open. So I mean, that in terms of installing it on an iOS device or an Apple device, that's it. It's installed on there, and you get this screen. You can either sign up or sign in. So if you've already got an account, you would click sign in. If you haven't, you would sign up, and you would type in your email address, first name, last name. Now, I'm not going to do it on the Apple one. I'm going to do it on the Android one, so I'll swap that in a second. I believe if I go on to settings.
So Haytham,
Yeah.
can I put you on a spot with a question?
Yeah, go on.
So I think you just explained, but the Zoom platform, or the Zoom, is compatible with both iPhone and Android phones.
Yeah. So it's across both. So you can get it on a computer, which includes like a Mac. So you could have it on a Mac, like an Apple Mac,
Okay.
or a PC, which is a Windows computer. I think anything above, I think Windows 8 and beyond is the limit. I think, because I don't know. I haven't tested it on Windows 7. So if you're running Windows 7, it might have a couple of issues with compatibility. Hopefully, you guys are all on the latest version of like the software, like Windows and Apple iOS. But so there's the option to sign up, and this is the bit where I said it gets a little bit confusing, because you can sign up with an email, as you can probably see on the screen there. Andy, yours might be a little bit behind. But you can also, if you click sign in, it gives you the options to sign in with Google or Facebook as well, which is actually how I'm signed in currently. Me and Andy are currently on a call now, and I'm signed in to Zoom through my Google account. And I'll talk about that in a little bit, why that might be a good thing if you've got a Google account. It makes some things a little bit easier, but we'll have a little chat about that. So I can either sign up using my email address, first name, last name, or I can sign in using Google or Facebook. So that's it on an Apple device. That's how to install it on that. So I'll close that down, and I will just unlock that again, and I'll swap now to the Android phone that I've got plugged in as well. So similar sort of process really. What you're looking for is, remember, on an Android device, This one happens to be a Huawei, but it shouldn't really matter as long as you want one of the later versions. You're looking for this app, that's the Play Store. So Google Play Store, the place where you always get your apps from, basically. So if I click on that, it will load the homepage for that. There's a bunch of games on there. You know, I want to stay clear of Candy Crush and Bubble Shooter for today, I think. And click on the search at the top. And as you can see from your history, the last thing I searched for was WhatsApp on this one, but this time I'm going to go for Zoom. And can you see the first suggestion on there? Can't quite see it on there, but you see it on the top is Zoom Cloud Meetings. So if I press that, it'll take me to the Zoom Cloud Meetings, and I know I'm looking for that icon again of the little white camera in a blue sort of rounded square. And then I'm just going to press install on that.
Well, that's installing, Haytham. We've got our first question.
Yeah.
So Lizzie's asked, and I have no idea about this.
Okay.
Is it compatible with JAWS software?
Now you're asking the questions.
I think we've got a question that you can't answer.
I think that might be one, you know. I might have to look into that.
Does Lizzie get a prize for asking a question?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. That's question of the day right there. Unfortunately, there's no value to the prize other than you winning it. But, you know, you've done something. You've stumped me. So that's the text-to-speech software, isn't it? The JAWS one.
I believe so, yes.
So at the minute, in terms of the accessibility stuff, I haven't got a complete list of what they are. What I would say is there'll be an FAQ section on the Zoom website. And if there's no information on there, what you can probably do is get in touch with them directly and see what is available. If I just have a quick look on the meeting controls. Because I think the text-to-speech stuff isn't actually... oops, I've clicked the chat window. 2 seconds. Just close that off. As far as I can see, on the main menu of Zoom, there's no text-to-speech integration, so it might be something that you have to have installed on your computer, if you know what I mean. But I'll look into it anyway. I'll tell you what, I'll make a note of that. So yeah, well done for that. You've managed to stump me in 12 minutes. It's tough. I
think we might have a new theme on these chats, Haytham, about beat the tech.
All right. What just make me sweat is that one? Yeah. Okay, cool. Right. So Zoom text to speech. Okay, so that's one for today. If anyone can come up with any more questions that completely stump me, I feel like I'm on an episode of Mastermind now. I'm not doing very well either. I just need the studio lights to sort of come down. So I'll look into that one, and I will post some kind of update in the description of the video when it goes up on the channel about some text-to-speech options. There'll be something, I'm assuming, and it might just work. Like your text-to-speech software might just work, but you'd probably have to do a little test with it. So hopefully...
So just to come back about Lizzie's question there, if there are questions that we can't answer during the chat, is there a way that we can add on to this video to say, this was a question from Lizzie, and this is what we can do to answer that question?
I can either do it, like I say, like an edit in the link, or I could even create a document with them on. So I could have a document of like a little session recap, and we could have a section of Q&A, and I can put the questions that were asked and the answers that we found that people can click into and read. If that's any easier.
Try and make that as accessible as possible.
Yeah, so I'll probably start as a Google Doc, and then get you guys to have a look over it if you don't mind, just to make sure it's not too. We'll make it in an easy read format, basically.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. So, yeah, keep thinking of your questions, and I'll try my best. And Andy, I'm sure, will try his best to answer them. So if you didn't know, this is what it looks like when someone's on the spot. So we're going to go right ahead. I've downloaded that now. So the Zoom Cloud Meetings app on Android is now downloaded. So I'm just going to press open, and I'll get the same screen. So you'll see the screen on mobile looks the same across most of your devices. It's asking you, do you want to join a meeting? Do you want to sign up? Do you want to sign in? Yeah. And on this one, like I mentioned before, I'm going to sign in using Google. So I'm going to sign in, and I get some options. And the second one, there's a few options there. I'm not going to choose Facebook. I'm going to choose Google, and it's going to take me over to, it's asking me to sign in. So I just need to put my password in there. And I tell you what, just so I don't accidentally broadcast my password, I'm just going to turn that display off for a second. because it's going to capture the keyboard, which is not quite what I wanted to do.
Someone's at your door?
Yeah, someone's at the back door by the sounds of it. I'll let someone else get it though. I've got an excuse, I'm live streaming now. It might be one of the delivery drivers, in which case they'll have just dropped the parcel and probably ran away, which is, fair enough.
Well, while you're doing that, Haytham,
Yeah.
I'm just going to come back to a to a point that Matthew's raised.
Yeah.
When we have our Zoom meetings, two of our advocates use communication devices called liberators. So
Okay.
it's a really good point from Matthew that it doesn't necessarily need to be typing or anything like that, but some of our advocates are able to use their liberators to be part of the chat.
Okay, cool. So that just works, does it, in terms of like in the Zoom meeting?
It's we've really enjoyed using it, and it's been a learning curve to begin with, but we've enjoyed it.
Yeah, it always will be, to be fair. And I mean, like you say, there will be some stuff that we haven't quite found out yet, because Zoom's a platform that's existed for quite a long time in terms of the tech world, but it's just only being used so much now because of obviously the current circumstances. So as you can see there, quickly, just to not gloss over this, I'm just going to save my password. So I pressed sign in with Google, and then I typed in my email and password. Obviously I took the display off because I didn't want to accidentally show everyone what the password was to the account. But then once I've put my Google mail address in there and my password in, it's come up with a screen that says create account. So this is going to create me a Zoom account based off of my Google account. So if I go ahead and press create account on there, it will do its connecting and it'll come up with the terms and conditions sort of thing. And if I just press continue, it will then show me the screen for Zoom. Yeah, so this is the overall screen for Zoom, and this is how you do it basically. All your controls for your Zoom account that I've just created. There's a gust of wind blowing the door open. Sorry. So all the controls will be here for Zoom now. So you can see along the top we've got new meeting, join, schedule, share screen. Yeah. So I could, if I wanted to, say I didn't want to have a meeting right now, right at this second. Yeah. I might want to schedule a meeting. So if I click on the little calendar that says schedule, it will ask me for the details. So what do I want to call it? Do I want to call it Media Savvy Zoom meeting? Probably, that'll do. I can choose a date that it will take place on. So I might want it to take place on the 6th of April 2020 from 2 till 2:30. Yeah, I could change those if I want. So it could go till 3:30 and it could start at 3 o'clock. Yeah. I don't want it to repeat, but if I did, there's some settings in there. I can scroll down and you see on the bottom, this is particularly why I chose my Google account, especially on an Android device, because there's a little option for add to calendar. Now that'll create a Google Calendar link that you can then invite people to as well. So if I click add to calendar and that's ticked, so it's on, yeah, and then I press done, it'll ask me now if I can have access to the calendar. I want to allow that because I want it to, and then it's telling me here I can invite people via Gmail or email. So if I want to add invitees, I could then send an email out. So just back out of that screen. So because I've pressed Gmail, it's opened up a Gmail with this link. So you see it's an email of the invite, and I can send that to whoever I want. I'm not actually going to send that one out. I'm just going to go back and close Gmail down for now. If I click add to calendar, it should just take that. So now if I go to my calendar app, if I can find it. Where are you hiding? It'll be right in front of us, but I won't be able to see it now.
So while you're finding that, Haytham,
yeah,
one of the things that we found is that by far the hardest thing is downloading Zoom.
Okay.
When it's set up, all we do is we send our team a
Yeah.
link, which they just click on, and we have hosted meetings.
Yeah.
And we've recently started taking it in terms of hosting those meetings.
Okay.
So that's worked really well. So I know that this might look very technical, and you
Yeah.
can play it back after the video's finished. There will be also an option to ask questions, but it is easy when you get that link. So when you have a link, literally all you do is click on it, takes you to the meeting, and we're hopefully, fingers crossed, going to show you how that works in practice with an online meeting, which some of our team are already in at the moment.
Yeah. So again, I've added that calendar link. So I scheduled that meeting for another time. It was Monday, if you remember. So now I've clicked add the calendar, and it's added the event to the calendar. And if I'm in my calendar app on my phone now, on the Android phone, and can you see on the 6th, it's come up with a little dot underneath it. That means there's an event on that day. And if I click into it, if on the bottom, it's saying here Zoom meeting invitation. And if I click on it, and I just agree to that, can you see I've got all the details here of the Zoom meeting that I've just set up. And if I scroll down, there's a little share button, so I can then share that via email, via WhatsApp, and people will get the link to it, which it has the link to the Zoom call, like Andy was saying. So at that time, they might not even have to have it before. You could send them it 10 minutes before the meeting, and they could click on it, and they could just join that meeting straight away, depending on what settings you've got on. This is quite a secure feature in terms of when you create a meeting like I just did. If I just unlock the phone again, sorry, my bad, and go back to Zoom. So if I go to meetings, so yeah, if you create a meeting and you're the host of it, you have a lot of control over who's in it and what they can do. So you can stop people from streaming their video, you can stop people from having their audio there, you can remove them from the meeting as well. And I'll run through some of that stuff as well. But it's quite good in terms of there's nobody should get in that meeting that you don't want there. You've got quite a bit of control. It's very much private. I know there's been a few, shall we say, security issues. I don't know if you've heard about these ones, Andy, but there was an app called, or there still is an app called House Party, and it seemed to have caused a bit of a stir online. Some people are saying it's hacking accounts and stuff. I haven't actually seen any proof of that. What I have seen is there was a feature on it where you could basically allow anyone into your call. So you'd have a group call called a room, or your party, and if you had a certain setting ticked, anyone in the world could basically access that, which is a massive security risk, especially if it's you could be talking about anything really. And I know there was quite a few people's like kids were using it as well, which again is another massive security risk. So my advice would be stick to something like Zoom if you're looking for a very private meeting experience and a bit of a safer one as well.
So what tends to happen during ours is we have one of our support staff, it's usually Samantha, who hosts it. And what she tends to do, especially when I'm speaking, to mute me.
Just mute you randomly, so you just sort of jabbering away in the background.
Yeah. So you're absolutely right. So it does. People are able to mute or remove your video.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually quite a safe way of running it.
Definitely.
That someone is, we say moderator, but basically someone's in charge. If they're hosting a meeting, that they can say, well, actually,
you be quiet for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You have a timeout.
So yeah, this is normally.
Yeah, so you've normally got getting told off. Is that when you start telling the jokes? Is that when the mic goes on?
It's generally the jokes.
Yeah, I feel like you're getting a bad rap a little bit, but you know, it is what it is. So I think I'm just quickly checking the chat now just to make sure I've covered everything. Tech-wise, Andy is no good.
Who said that?
No one. I don't know. Nobody.
Matthew's just had a really good point. So there is a lot of concern about personal information being sent.
Yeah.
through apps like Zoom
Yeah.
and Skype.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know the answer to that. So
So, in terms of personal information, what is quite good about your Zoom account is that when you sign up, even if you only sign up using your email address and your like a password, outside of your email, password, first name, they don't tend to take a lot of actual personal information. Um, you'd have to read the privacy policy to see exactly what they did with it. It'll be nothing that isn't standard, and it'll be nothing that was illegal because they couldn't do it. They wouldn't get away with it on the scale that they're operating. In terms of that, if you go to, I'll put a link to this in the description. But I think there's a Zoom FAQs page that has quite a good breakdown of this on. I had it open as a tab before, but I think I might have closed it by mistake. But there is a frequently asked questions section, and they do have some information about using personal chat space. Dear. Again, I tell you what, instead of doing it sort of on the spot, is a very good question. I will have a look at that FAQ section, and I will dig out the relevant bits, because I've just loaded the page and it's like a massive like forum worth of stuff that we really don't need to cover right now. What I would say was, especially with the likes of house parties, and I think that might be what a couple of the guys are referring to as well. There's been a few stories on that house party hacking accounts and stuff, and obviously a few where they've been hacking into like Facebook accounts, not hacking into, but taking information from them. So that, again, I signed up with my Google account on this Android phone. If you're not comfortable doing that with another account, make a new one. So type in when the screen first comes up. So if I swap back to my iPhone, I will show you what I mean.
I think from our point of view, I mean, we've been using it with our team of self-advocates for over 2 weeks now, and initially it was quite difficult for some of our team, but actually I think everyone's got into the hang of it now.
Yeah.
And in terms of kind of sharing, it's been really, really useful to see people's faces. One of the things that's been, and hopefully we'll be able to talk to you about this when you come to our meeting.
Yeah.
It's given people an opportunity to share their own ideas. So Lauren, one of our team on Wednesday, ran her own cookery class.
Yeah.
And she made cheese scones.
It was a cheese scone, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was brilliant. And everyone participated. I'll be honest and say that some members of our team, their cheese scones were better than other people's.
Is that you bigging yourself up, or is that?
No. I hope Lisa's not listening.
Yeah.
But no, it was brilliant, and credit to Lauren and her dad for kind of organising that. So we're hoping to kind of keep that up and running and sharing ideas, so that people can start sharing something that's important to them.
Yeah. But I think as well, I mean, like I say, even right now, me and you are sort of on this stream in a Zoom call, so even something like that, I think it's a bit reassuring sometimes just to see someone's face rather than just have a phone call with them. And the way Zoom works is it's so, you can have like that many people in it. It is like being in a room with your friends and colleagues and family and stuff. It's really useful.
So Fraser's has just come back and said Prime Minister Boris Johnson is using it to hold his cabinet.
Yeah. So because he's self-isolated, isn't he? Because he's tested positive for the old virus.
So I think it's quite reassuring that it's a point very well made that it will be secure and safe if our cabinet I'd be very interested to hear from Fraser about how our community engagement team in Northumbria Police, whether or not they're using similar technology to keep in touch.
Yeah, I think he did at the start of the stream that some of the guys were using it to work from home. So yeah, let us know how you're getting on with that one, Fraser. I think a lot of people will be, without being bit tongue-in-cheek, but would have been in your sort of position, Andy, to be honest, in terms of 2 weeks ago, if you'd have said to them, I want you to do some video conferencing from home, they'd have looked at you as if you've just slapped them. Whereas now, like you say, once you've used it, it is really easy. You copy in a link, you might copy it might be a password, and you're into that virtual space. So it's
So Fraser just come back straight away and said that the community engagement team organised Skype meetings, and again, it's very, very useful. And I know Zoom is one of, I think, three that I'm aware of. I think Whereby is one,
yeah,
Skype is another, and obviously Zoom.
yeah.
Different ways that people can stay connected. So we're not on commission to
No,
promote the thing. So Haytham's not getting paid loads of money.
no, definitely not. Not
But
for this.
it's for our team. It's been really, really useful, and like Fraser and other groups and other people are saying, it's a really useful way of keeping in contact.
Yeah, I think the thing is, as well, what I would say for anyone who obviously hasn't used any of them, I'm showing you Zoom today, but a lot of the options are like similar, especially for Skype. And I think Skype's been around since like, the early 2000s, I think. It's sort of like the old school one, but what I really like about Zoom is its consistency over the multiple devices. So if I swap back, I think I've swapped back to the iPhone, just to go back to the point I was making. If you didn't want to integrate an account, so on the other phone I'd signed in and I'd used Google, and you can also use Facebook. If you didn't want to do that, what you could do is go back to that main screen and click sign up, and you could type your own email address in there, your first name, your last name, and then I think it'll prompt you to put a password in, and then it'll send you an email to that email so that you can confirm that account, and then you should just be good to go on that, and you can sign into that on any device as well. So across all your devices, if you've got a computer, if you've got a tablet, if you've got another phone, like an Android phone, you can sign into on that, and it should just recognize your account with your name, and you can set like your profile picture and stuff. And in terms of personal information, that should be roughly all it takes. So it's not like something like Facebook, where it wants your mobile number and it wants to know your date of birth and where you live and where you work and all that kind of information that you just sort of surging out there. It's a little bit less complex than that. It just wants the basic information so it can put you in a meeting with other people. You'll see on the stream underneath mine and Andy's cams, it's got our name. So obviously mine's got my name there. I'm just moving the mouse over, and Andy's has got his name there. So that is where it displays that information as well. So it's good for that reason as well. Your profile, you might be in a meeting with someone you don't know so well because you're having a meeting with them for the first sort of time.
So I'm going to just bring up a couple of points that have been raised.
Yeah, go for it.
Thank you again, Lizzie, for the third. You're not very technical, Andy. Comment. Much appreciated.
Got the full support
Jordan,
of the chat.
Jordan has joined us from Harrow Mencap.
Yeah.
And Jordan's asked, well, he's basically said, we're in the process of setting up Zoom, but our IT people have highlighted issues with GDPR.
Okay.
So that's a really, really good point. Now, what the decision that we've taken in our team is that it's about people feeling safe. And at the moment, we are sharing details through people that give consent through that.
Yeah.
It's really, really important that people are able to make decisions about information sharing. So we're certainly not in the process of kind of sharing personal contact numbers or details or email addresses or anything like that, unless people are happy to share that information. And there are a number of issues involved in that. Safeguarding, making sure that we're not inviting strangers to meetings. But that's a really, really good point.
I think it's also the sort of publishing of that information as well, because if it's an internal thing, so say Media Savvy, for example, obviously we know that this is how we're working, so we've all consented to joining into a group call, for example, or a group meeting on Zoom, and that information isn't leaving that sort of bubble, if that makes sense. So the bubble of core staff know each other's email addresses, but outside of that, no one else is getting that information unless we willingly give it to them to get in touch with us for whatever reason. So yeah, consent is going to be key with that one, as well as what information's being put in, because there are different ways to share things in the chat as well. So just being mindful of that everyone in the chat sort of is aware that anything they put in there is going out to everyone in that meeting rather than just that one person, if that makes sense. And that can include things like photos and videos, and anything that you put in the little chat feature, which we're going to cover in a little bit.
So again, another comment about, is there a way that if you want to share a new Zoom group,
Yeah.
that people maybe have an accessible consent form or confidentiality in, learning about the information that you can share and that you can't share.
Yeah, again, I would look at that from an organisational perspective, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
So having that before you go out and say, right, okay, we're going to do everything on Zoom, making sure
yeah,
that the users you're going to have on Zoom, so this might come from the IT department if you work in an organisation, might come from you guys, like you guys have done, so you've got that explicit consent. And making sure if there's a form that they're going to fill in, that they've had ample time to fill it in and have understood it as well in terms of what you're expecting them to share and not to share, if that makes sense, and whether they're comfortable with those different aspects. If that makes sense. So they said Zoom can use the information and collect it where the issue came from. Again, as far as I'm aware, the information that Zoom collects is all relating to your profile, and that'll be things like your first name and your email address. Outside of that, I'm not 100% sure they're taking anything more than that, but I can look into it if that's something you want, and I can put it in that little update document, which I'll make a note
we're
of.
giving you a lot of work to do today.
Yeah. No, to be fair though, it's all sort of valid concerns, really.
Which is really we're really enjoying.
No,
So
good.
keep coming back if anyone's got any other technical questions for Haytham. He'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, so things like I can have a little pour through the privacy policy in terms of what they're going to use that data for. I appreciate it's very easy to just click accept when the terms and conditions come up and not really read them. So it might be worth having a little look through them to see what they're actually doing with the information. But from me, very brief look when I just installed it on this computer last week, it was only accessing profile information that I could see. But Jordan, I will have a little look a bit deeper into that one for you, and hopefully provide an update once the video goes out, if that's all right.
So at some point we are going to be going in to our room. I think we said 2:00, was it?
About 2:00, yeah.
But we're hoping there's going to be an opportunity for some of our self-advocates to use opportunities in the Staying Connected chats with Media Savvy to come and share their own experiences of what it's like using Zoom, what it's like using WhatsApp, and whether or not people are using different ways of staying connected. So I think that would be really, really useful.
Yeah. So I'm conscious of time, that's all. So I'm just gonna go back to that Android screen really quick, and I'm gonna reopen Zoom. So obviously I've created that Google account. I showed you guys how to schedule a meeting. Let's, for example, say I didn't want to schedule a meeting. I just wanted to start one, say right now. So if I click in the top left, you'll see there it says new meeting. No prizes for guessing what that does. It starts a new meeting, and it'll ask me if I want the video on or not. So if I click start a meeting, it'll probably go into like the weird video selfie mode, and then it'll ask you for permission from that device to say, can I open the camera, can I access the microphone. You need it, if you want video on, you need it to access the camera. If you want the audio on, you need it to access the microphone. So we're going to allow that, and we are going to allow that, and then we're going to get a nice selfie of me there. And then I can, on the bottom, I can view who's in the meeting at the minute, so it's just me. And as you can see, my mic's sort of flickering on that one, so I'm currently talking in there. I can also either mute the mic and I can stop the video, and I can then say start the video again and unmute the mic, which are them options along the bottom row. And I've also got a little share button, so if I click share, I can share, say, a photo from this phone, I can share a document, I can share a link from like a web URL, or a photo or a document, and that would just say allow, but we'll go back. And I think if I go to more and meeting settings, there's all the settings for the meeting because I'm the host of it. So show name when participants join. If anyone joined the meeting, that would make their name pop up. Any of the participants are allowed to chat. You can mute them on entry. You can stop them sharing by lock sharing. You can lock the meeting, which means anyone that's in there currently are the last people to get in. Anyone who tries to get in there afterwards won't be able to get into the meeting because it's locked. And I believe if I go down to share again, click web URL. Hang on 2 seconds. Nope. So yeah, so if I wanted to invite someone to this web meeting that I've set up on the phone, if I go down to participants on the bottom, and I've got invite, and there's a bunch of different ways that I can invite them to that meeting as well. So I can have a contact on Zoom, or I could send it via Gmail or as a text message, which is the top option. Second one down is Gmail. Third one down is just normal email. You might have a different account. It might be like a Outlook or Hotmail or whatever. And the very bottom one is copy URL. Now what that's done is it's copied it to my clipboard. So if I went into a Facebook message, I could paste that in there. If I went into a text message, I could paste that in there, send it across. They would click on that link, and it would bring them to this meeting screen here. And that's how you do it on a mobile. Is that all looking familiar, Andy? Or roughly the same?
Just had a question from Matthew.
Yeah. Oh well, you've got a nice
We
view
are
of the scene.
covering. Are we covering Zoom for Windows?
Yeah, I'm just about to swap over. So I was just about, because obviously the meeting controls on an Android are the ones I've just showed you there. So I'm going to end. So to end this meeting, in the top right, I've got a little end button. So if I just press end, and I can either leave or end it. If I end it, it ends it for everyone who's in there. So if I leave it, it might make someone else the host. If I end it, everyone in there just gets booted out. And then I'm back to my main Zoom screen. Yeah. So what I'm going to have a go at now, if I just swap screens over, if you give me 2 ticks. So I'm just going to swap over to a video, the video window of me and Andy, sorry. So we're currently in a Zoom meeting, so we've done that. So I've created a meeting like I just did on my phone, but I've done it on my computer this time. And the way I did that, if I just show you, once you've downloaded and installed the app, you'll have this screen here. But if you're worried about how you get a hold of it on a PC or Windows computer, or indeed a Mac, if you've got one, if you just go to Google and you just literally type in Zoom, it'll bring up zoom.us, which is this top link here, and then a little bit further down is this little download link, and it'll take you to the download center, which has Zoom clients for meetings, sorry, and then you would just press download there, and then that would download the little Zoom program, which is what me and Andy are talking through right now. And
could you just do that one more time, Haytham?
Yeah, so I haven't got Zoom on this computer at all, let's imagine, yeah. So I'm going to open up a Google Chrome tab, I'm going to go straight to Google, and I'm going to go into the search box, I'm going to just type in Zoom and press enter. That'll load up. So can you see our very familiar logo here on the right hand side, and then we've got the very top link from Google should be, this is the important bit, should say zoom.us. so where I've got my cursor sort of hovering over there is zoom.us, and then a little bit further down than that I've got this little download link here. Yeah, so if I click on that download link, if I actually click on it, it might help, and then we've got this Zoom client for meetings. Yeah, and I've already got it downloaded, so I don't need to press this button, but if I did, I think if I press it, it'll just download the file, the installer. And let me just turn that off just to show you for a second. Yeah, so it's downloaded this Zoom installer here, and you would just click on that and click open. So once you press, I'll not do it because it'll have a bit of a tantrum because I've already got it installed on my computer. But if you didn't, you would press open on that and it would take you through the install process. And
so in terms of the install process, Haytham, Matthew's saying he's had difficulties finding the application when and where it's installed on his
on his
PC.
computer. Right. So have you got a Windows machine, Matthew?
So Matthew, if you want to come back about that.
Yeah.
But
I can quickly show you. So if it is a Windows machine, you can come down to the bottom left where it says type here to search, and if you just type the word Zoom in and you've got Zoom installed, you should see a little icon here that says Start Zoom, and it'll say App. Now that will load the Zoom app up, and it'll be a similar screen to what I've showed you on the mobile device. It looks slightly different because it's on a computer, which it always does. The apps on phones always look slightly different to what they do on a computer. We'll have all the same options for new meeting, join, schedule, share screen, that sort of thing. This possibly will be a little bit of a barrier for some people in terms of downloading on a computer, which is why I showed you downloading it on because if you've got a modern enough smartphone, you should be able to do it on that fairly easily, if that makes sense. Again, so I've ran through that. If you're really struggling with the Windows one, watch the video back and give it a go. If you are struggling to the point where you can't do it, drop me an email and I'll try and explain it a little bit clearer. So
I'm going to come in there again, Haytham, so apologies.
Go for it.
There are a range of kind of easy read, talk you through documents that we can, again, kind of send as part of this video.
Yeah.
So there's a range that have just been produced recently, which are really quite good. So again, if it's a step-by-step something that people would prefer to read, we can certainly help out by adding that at the end of this video.
And have you guys got them? Are they set up and sort of ready to go?
We can send you the links.
Yeah, cool. And then I'll make sure that underneath the video to be sort of displayed, so people can do that alongside. So yeah, Matthew, on your Windows 8 laptop, you should be able to do pretty much the same thing. So you should be able to come down the bottom left and type in Zoom, and the app should sort of appear here as Start Zoom. You might have to press the little Windows button first. So the bottom left, you might have to press that little Windows button and then search. So then type it in like that, and you're looking for Start Zoom app. You don't want to ignore the installers. You don't want them. You want Start Zoom on there.
Yeah.
And let's get mine and Andy's smiling faces back up. There we are. Okay, so you've downloaded Zoom. You've installed it. You are now back. You're in there, and you've joined a meeting. So someone sent you a link to a meeting, and you've clicked on it. Yeah. So if someone sends you a link in the likes of an email, and you click on it, it'll open in probably a new window, and then it'll say, "Do you want to open Zoom?" And you're just going to click yes, and it'll bring you to a screen that looks something like this. So it's obviously myself and Andy, who looking by me. I'm looking very pale. I think it's just the reflection from the window. Hopefully.
Well, so you're looking pale. I look like I've got about
menacing
30 chins.
You look like you're angry, to be honest. I don't know if it's just the angle or you're sick of getting told that you're no good with tech in the chat, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see. So yeah, we'll get a screen like this, and depending on how many people are in here, it'll depend on what the view looks like. So you can have it on speaker view, and that'll highlight a video or whoever's talking. You can have it on gallery view, which will split the view up, and that's just controlled in this little window up the top here. So if there was 6 people in here, you would see 6 cameras if they all had them switched on. If they didn't have them switched on, you might see their name. So Andy, if you can just switch your camera, if you can just stop your video for a second, just to show the guys what it will look like. Yeah, so you see, we'll get his name across the middle rather than his camera. And there you go. You can put that back on now, mate. So yeah, you would have that if someone didn't have the camera on, you would see that. Obviously, like Andy was saying before, if someone's muted him or you've muted yourself, you'll see the video might be moving, but you won't hear any audio. That's because they've either been muted by someone who's sick of hearing them, or they've muted themselves. One of the two. So you'll have a few other options along the bottom. So depending on whether you've joined the meeting or you've created the meeting, you might be able to invite people. So you've got this invite option on the bottom here. If I click that, I can send it as an email using these different apps, or I can use my Zoom contact. I haven't got anyone added on Zoom, so at the minute I can't do that. What I can do down the bottom is copy URL, which will be that link. So the invitation URL has been copied. That's a link to this meeting here, and I can send that to someone on Facebook or via email, or however it is that I want to send it to them. Down in the left hand side, these ones are quite important. So I've got the controls for my microphone and my camera, so I can mute my mic, which I'm not going to do because then you wouldn't be able to hear us explaining it, as tiresome as it probably is. And I could stop my video as well, so if I didn't want people to see us, I could stop the video, and if I didn't want people to hear me, I could mute the audio as well. You've also got your little settings in here as well. Don't worry too much about them. Zoom is pretty good in terms of picking up what your default microphone and camera is. it's
And Matthew's just said, when I switched my camera off, did I leave it like that? Really, really appreciate all this
wow,
support, guys, at the moment.
what a terrific audience.
Um,
Um,
Loving this.
So yeah, depending on whether you want to see someone or not, you might want to tell them to turn the camera on or off. I don't know. What you can also do, if you're just looking to have a little bit of fun, is if you go up to your video settings. So there's a little arrow next to the video section. So next to where it says stop or start video, if you press that up arrow, I believe, hang on, I'll make sure I've got the right screen on here. Yeah, so you press the little up arrow here where my mouse is now, and you go to video settings. There's an option. There's a bunch of options in here for your video. Now I've got my face like full screen. And I want to go down to virtual background. And can you see here? There's a bunch of different virtual backgrounds. Now, depending on where you're sat, it'll depend on how well these work. So if you're sitting against something with sort of one colour, let me just shift my coat off the back there. I wonder if I do. I wonder if I'll disappear. Oh, not quite. No. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you click on the different pictures and it'll put you in the different backgrounds. So Andy is gone for, by the looks of it, a beach. Wow. Yes, half of your head is missing now. I think that's been...
Yeah, it doesn't work very good with the background I've got.
Yeah, so depending on what you... Our backdrop here is quite a plain wall, so it's working quite well. If you've got loads of different colours in the background, it'll get a little bit confused. But, you know, just a bit of fun. So I'm going to be, like I was yesterday, in outer space. And that's fine. I think you can do a custom one as well. So you can click on the little plus here and you can add an image or a video if you so wish. If you want to take that off at any time, so let's say you put it on and now you're sort of stuck. I'm stuck in outer space. Luckily I can somehow breathe. I go back to the same place that I put it on. So press up. If I can click on choose a virtual background and just set it to none. So you see there's this little option for none. Takes it off and we're back. We're back on Earth, which is nice. Bit more gravity here. So there's also a few other different settings. So like I said, you've got your invite tab if you are the sort of host of it, or sometimes you can get the privilege to, depending on who set it up, to invite people to. You've also got this manage participants tab, which will pop up a little window on the left hand side and it'll just tell you who's in the meeting. So participants and who's there. And as you can see here, if I hover over Andy's name, I could mute him if I want to. I'm not going to, because I find that to be quite rude. Andy hasn't started telling jokes yet, so we'll leave him on for now. But you've got options down the bottom to mute all, unmute all. You can have mute participants. So if I come down to more on the bottom, this little option down here, you can lock the meeting. You can play an enter and exit chime, which is quite good for you to know when people are joining and leaving the meeting. So you get a little noise through your headphones or through your speakers to know when people are coming in and out of the meeting. And you can have mute participants on entry. So when someone first joins the meeting, they'll join with no audio so that they're not accidentally screaming their head off or playing loads of like death metal in the background or whatever they're up to on that day. Doesn't just come blaring through your speakers, because sometimes you can get quite a shock if someone just joins the meeting and they're all of a sudden sort of screaming at you, or whatever's happening. So let me just hide that. Yeah. You've got some options to share screen. Now I don't know how this is going to work because I am streaming. It might go a bit haywire. But if I click on share screen here, and all the windows that are open on my computer are now able to be shared with anyone in that Zoom call. So I don't actually know what happens if I share a whiteboard. Let's find out. So it's going to open a little whiteboard, and I don't know if this is shared between us, but I'll just do... Oh god, I'm drawing with a trackpad on it. There we go. If we can guess what that is, there we are. That's what that looks like. Can you draw on that one, Andy, or not? Oh, hang on, have we got him muted? No. Is it letting you draw on that one or not?
No.
So yeah, I don't know why you'd want a whiteboard, but you can have a whiteboard if you want. I can then press stop on the share, so I can go back to share screen, which is this middle option here. And say if I wanted to share this Google Chrome tab of the download center, I could do that and it would start the screen share. And then I could sort of highlight the different parts of it, scroll through it, say, you know, this is the link you want to click here, so this link here. And Andy should be able to see that on his end. And then if we want to stop sharing, you've got this at the big red button at the top, stop share. Next to that share screen button, so you're not sharing anything that's open on your computer anymore, you want to share something else, you press up and you've got the sharing options. Multiple participants can share simultaneously. That means more than one person can share the screen at once. Probably stay away from that one because that's going to be organised chaos. I'd let one person go at a time. If they're wanting to show you something that's on their computer, let them do it one at a time. Otherwise, I think you're going to have a bit of a headache.
Matthew's asked about green screen, Haytham.
Yeah, so you can. There is a green screen option in there. So back to the virtual backgrounds quickly. So same place I came before. Next to me video icon, the little up arrow. If I go to choose a virtual background, if you see on the bottom, Matthew, if you have a green screen, you have to have the actual physical green screen behind you. It will. There's some options on there. I think basically when you tick that, it'll automatically figure out your green screen, so you will have a better virtual. Yeah, so it still does all the keying out, so it'll take out the green background and it'll put it in. It'll just look slightly better than. So say now when I move in and out of it, can you see my hand's got all these little particles around it? If you have a green screen, because it's taken out the green in between it and behind you, it'll look slightly better. You definitely don't need one though, but if you've got one, you might as well use it, I suppose.
So Haytham, the screen in YouTube is just blank.
Oh, okay, hang on. Let's have a look. It's still working on my. Has it gone completely black? Has it?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
2 seconds. Are you guys all right? Are you still seeing what I'm doing? Yeah. I'll just give the guys a couple of seconds just to make sure we're still going. No, I think we're back. I think it's on. It must have just been when I swapped screens to something else. It might have quickly just dipped to black. How's it looking now on your end, Andy?
Bear with me.
It might be you just need to refresh it, that's all.
Oh, that's better.
Yeah, cool. I think it was just in between when I was swapping between one of the screens, maybe. It's just got stuck on that. Right, so yeah, so we've gone through, we've got our audio, we've got our video, we've got invite, manage participants, share screen. There's a little chat feature in this as well. So if I click on chat, there's a little window pops up on the right hand side. So on the right hand side here, where my mouse is now got the group chat. So if I just close that, just to show you again, so it's here, this option for chat. So for whatever reason you've had to mute your mic, I don't know, someone's doing the hoovering in the house or the dog's barking real loud, which is two things that happen in my house quite often. You've got a little chat feature, so you might say okay, be right back, and press enter, and that was to everyone. You can also message people directly, so where it says to on this bottom window here, you can drop that down and it'll list everyone in the meeting, and I can send a message. So it's saying to Andrew Fox privately, so I'm sending just him a message. If you want to just tell one person one thing, to get rid of that little window to go back to just the view of the cameras, you would just this little arrow at the top, so where my cursor is there next to where it says Zoom group chat, it's this little arrow here. Yeah, press that and just close, and that'll just get rid of it, and you can come back to it at that chat anytime. There's the record feature, which I haven't really played around with too much, but it just makes a local recording of the meeting. So if you wanted to record that meeting because you say it was a one that you wanted to come back to, or you wanted to go back through and take minutes from it, or it was something you wanted to record because you were practicing something, so say, you could be practicing like, I don't know, a script or something like that, or you keep a record of it because you were coming up with ideas for a new project and you want to keep that so you can go back to it in case you forget anything. You could record that and it'll store it somewhere on your computer, I believe. In fact, let me just press record, and if I just stop it, the recorded file will be converted to MP4 when the meeting ends. So when I end this meeting, it'll tell me where that file is. Basically, it'll pop up with a little window and say that file was saved to videos or documents or downloads or wherever it's gone. And the last little tab along the bottom in terms of a meeting control is reactions, and there's only a clap emoji or a thumbs up emoji, so I guess you can't be angry or sad or thumbs down. It's just thumbs up, and that just pops up on the little window next to your video. and the
Okay.
very, very bottom right one, I'm guessing it looks a bit different. On yours, Andy, it'll probably say leave meeting. But on mine, because I hosted this meeting, I set this one up, it says end meeting. So if I click that, it'll ask me, I'm going to click it now, Andy, you might get cut off here, we'll see. No, so the little button pops up there and it says, do you want to leave, which means the meeting would still go on, but I won't be in it, or do you want to end the meeting for all, which will kick everybody out of that meeting. So it's like, right, go on, get yourselves away, time to go, sort of thing. And then obviously, if you didn't want to end it, you've got your cancel button, which will do that as well. And that is about it in terms of the controls, which is timed quite well.
So this is the part, everyone, that we're hoping that we're going to able to go straight into Sunderland People First's Zoom chat, which is happening right at the moment.
Yeah.
So this is about as technical as it gets.
Yeah.
So just if it all goes well, we'll all have a kind of high five. If it doesn't, we're all going to blame
Cry.
Nathan.
Okay, blame me. Yeah, fine. I was going to say cry, but yeah, cool. Right, I will. You sent me the link in an email earlier, didn't you?
Yeah.
Right, I tell you what. Do you want to go into that first, and then I'll show the guys how to load it from a link?
Okay.
So if you want to go ahead and go in there now, and I will follow shortly. Hopefully, we'll see. Okay, cool. I'm all alone now. I'm just going to load that email, guys. I don't know what's happening with the camera. I'm in sort of like a letterbox at the moment. So just bear with me, and I will show you the email that I got from Andy earlier. So earlier on, a bit like an auto attack, here's one we made earlier. He emailed me a link to the Zoom chat that these guys have already set up. So these guys are in a current meeting, and they've kindly agreed to let us in. I'm just going to try and sort my camera out because I don't know quite what's happened there. I don't know why I'm just a small head. Okay, I'm no longer a small head, which is nice. Now I've got a big head. Yeah, so we've got this link, so I will swap my scenes to show you that. So Andy sent me an email earlier, and can you see this is the link to the SPF Zoom meeting, which we'll be joining during the YouTube stream at roughly 2 o'clock. So this is what it'll look like when you get sent a link, when you get emailed out a link. So if I click that, it'll pop up and ask me, do I want to join that? I'm actually 2 seconds, going to end this meeting first. Just going to end that. You might see my camera disappear for a little while. I am still here. So I tell you what, let's redo that just so I'm not mixing the steps up. So I get the link from the email. Someone's invited me to this Zoom meeting. I click on that link. It opens the little browser up, and it'll ask me, because I've already got Zoom installed. I just click open Zoom, and it should connect me to the meeting. And this little window will pop up, and it's asking me, do I want to join with video? So that means when I join the meeting, my camera will be on straight away, which you might not want. So you would say join without video. And it always show the video preview dialog when joining a video meeting. So yeah, you want it every time you join a meeting, you want that to be on because you wanted to check whether you want your video camera to come straight on. You might be out and about on your phone, you might not want it to come straight on. I mean, God forbid, you might not be dressed. You should be, to be fair. It's always good to be dressed. So I'm going to join with video, and then we're going to hope and cross our fingers. Please wait, the meeting host will let you in soon. So I think these guys have got the settings on so that I have to be approved to join this meeting. In the meantime, I can test my audio in terms of seeing if my mic's working. So can you see, microphone has got a little bar coming up when I'm talking. And to test the speakers, if I click test speakers, it'll play a little tune. Quite an awful tune, but a tune nonetheless. So I know I can hear that because I can hear it coming out. So I can just stop that, and I can see the mic's working. And hopefully someone will let me into this room soon. I will just message Andy to make sure he knows to let me in. 2 minutes. Oop, and I've dropped my phone. Yeah, so again, when you click the link, it'll open so I've clicked on that link there, and it'll open a new tab, which will ask me if do I want to open Zoom. I've pressed yes, which was the little pop down there. It's brought me up onto that, and I think I'm in. And join
Sort everybody out.
computer audio. Am I in? Hello?
Yeah,
Yes,
you're in.
you
Yeah,
are.
I'm in. Hello. Hi guys. How's it going?
Hi.
How's everyone doing?
All
You
right.
guys alright?
Not bad.
Yeah, so I was just explaining whether you want to join with audio or video. So because I've joined with video as well, you can see my smiling happy face. How he's getting on.
You got a new hairstyle.
Oh, it's just I haven't had it cut. It's just slicked back because I kind of go to the barber. So, yeah. It's about as good as that
Who
can
was
get
that, Dan?
it. What's that?
Was that Dan in the background?
Oh, probably. They were moving the fridge earlier, I think. So there was lots of
right.
clanging and crushing going on. I haven't heard anyone screaming yet, so I'm assuming they're still alive. Hopefully. We'll see how they get on. So how are you guys doing then?
All right.
Good.
All right.
Keeping busy?
Can I just quickly ask Kirsten something?
Yeah.
I tried to get onto the YouTube. There's the channel at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
How do you do the chat?
Okay, so the
Like,
chat,
ask a question.
you will need, if you want to interact with the chat, you will need a YouTube account, and you have to be signed into it.
Right.
That I was signed into it, and I
so-
just it didn't seem.
Were you typing in?
Was signed.
So were you typing in a message on the right hand side and then pressing enter and stuff?
No, I didn't. I didn't even have that.
What might have happened in that case is you might have watched a video in the past and had the chat hidden. This is just
Nice.
I'll send you a screenshot at some point of where to unhide it.
Nice.
Right.
There's a little option on it where you can collapse the chat or you can have it open, whether you want to see it or not. You might have had yours just turned off, so it won't. It normally appears on the right hand side of the screen. It won't have been on there because you've hidden it.
So guys, just to explain that Haytham is running a kind of tutorial about sharing how we use Zoom.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
This is being recorded, so it would be really useful if one at a time we could all say how it's worked for us. So Sam, you've done the most of the kind of setting it up and organising us. How's it been for you, kind of organising our sessions?
It hasn't been too bad actually. It's really easy to set up a recurring meeting. So what you can do is put like a whole block of meetings in, and it's really easy to set up. And that means that you just use the same link and everybody knows it's the same time. That was really easy to set up. I still send little reminders now and then just to make sure everybody knows what time and where we're joining the meeting. And that's worked really well.
What about yourself, Paul?
For a visual point of view, with me being visually impaired, it's more handy that there's the same link all the time, so I can go on me like the saved email like I did say yesterday, and just click on the link and it comes up.
Brilliant.
And actual Zoom itself, it's fine. It's really good visual wise, no problem.
Bill, did you want to say something?
I found it really useful, and I'm learning a lot more about like how to stay in touch with people, because like I'm doing a lot of meetings now on Zoom or Skype or Microsoft Teams.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to do a lot of meetings online.
So have you found it now you know sort of one, have you found it a little bit easier to use the others as well? Just have to learn
Yes.
this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, really good.
That's brilliant. Philip.
We had problems when it was on the phone, didn't we? But since we put it on the computer, it's much easier.
Yeah, I think that sometimes the layout is a little bit easier on the computer.
In the phone, you only get 4 pictures at once, so, or just the person is talking.
Matthew's just sent something through on WhatsApp. Now, Matthew is live on the stream
Yeah, he's there. He's listening.
and he's just said he says hi to everyone.
Hi, Matthew.
Hey, Matthew.
Hi, Matthew.
Hey, Matthew.
Hiya, Matthew.
So Sharon,
Yeah.
so can I ask you how have you found using Zoom?
At first I found it a bit daunting because
Yeah.
I couldn't find out where the actual place was because I got mixed up with everything. But now I'm trying to get the hang of it now, which is good. So when I first got it, I couldn't figure it out. So I found it really hard.
But you're feeling a bit more
Sharon.
confident now.
A little bit complicated, a little bit, but I do try and get in when I can.
Sharon, do you feel more confident using it?
I'm getting in there. I'm getting a little bit confident, yeah.
And do you use the link that Sam sends in the WhatsApp group?
I do,
You just go on there and click on that link.
yes.
So do you find that easy that it's there?
Yeah, I do.
Good.
I do find it easy now, but before I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't get my head round it.
But once you realised, Andy helped you, didn't he?
Yeah,
Did he do it over
Yeah.
the phone with you?
he did. He talked us through it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just went and done it, and it came up.
And the rest history, yeah?
Yeah,
Andy's the dark horse in terms of technology. I think he keeps downplaying himself, but looks like he's got quite a good grasp on it by the looks of it.
I think
Yeah.
he's just learning as he goes, to be honest.
Okay, that's fair enough. I mean, aren't we all?
Can I just say as well, what I tend to do is I will also text Sharon the link and I will remind her what time the meeting is. And I have to say, so far, Sharon, I know you were a little bit worried about it, but you've managed to join every day now, and it's
Yeah.
really good to see you here. So you've done really well.
yeah.
So next question, what kind of things do we talk about? Because we've had different subjects that
Mhm.
we cover every day. So
Yep.
I'm going to start with Wednesday. What did we manage? Well, what did Lauren do on Wednesday?
We
Can I
just-
join in on this one?
Oh yeah, there he is. There's the man.
Hey, now
How's it going, man?
you're in a different room now.
So we did some we cooked cheese scones. So everyone had their ingredients and everything. And Lauren talked us through how to cook the cheese scones. So everyone was in the kitchen
Yeah,
through Zoom.
and that was
It
brilliant.
was really fun,
How did they turn out then? How were the scones?
really good,
Good stuff.
really good.
We'd share pictures, but I can't work out how to do it. We've already tried that
Yeah.
today.
So you could do, if you had them open on your screen, you could do your share screen. So you if
Okay.
you open them up on like a window, so like the Windows photo viewer or whatever it is, or like your Apple one, and then you just press share screen, it should come up as one of those windows.
Okay, let's have a try. Can we have a try?
Yeah. No pressure.
So if I then go into share screen there,
Yeah, you should get a bunch of options of different windows that you can share. And if you scroll
Yeah, but it
down,
doesn't-
can you see or if you cannot see that, I think there's files on the. Let's have a
there's
look.
files, but it doesn't. It doesn't. It just has OneDrive,
So-
Google Drive, Box, and Dropbox.
So you know when you're on Basic on the first
Yeah.
tab, is the have you opened it in like a little photo viewer? so that you can see the picture, and then is that not a window that you can then share as part of the screen, or is it not?
What happened there? Anything?
2 seconds.
It goes to me
On the line.
privacy settings.
Oh, right. I'll tell you what. I'll quickly look for an image on my. Oh, hang on. We've got something.
What?
Yeah. There you
yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Just open.
So that's not mine, is it?
It's someone's. I don't know
Not
who.
mine. That's Sam's. I was like, where the bloody hell did all
I
those?
think that might be Sam's.
You might need to shut that down, Lisa.
Yeah. So Lisa, you need to stop sharing. Yeah. But that would be how you do it. You would click on one of those pictures and it would open, and you'd be able to see it. But we just got a load of pictures of cats, so it's fine.
I wonder who that was.
It's not like I like cats or anything.
So,
Thank you for that.
Right. That's what I'm here for.
so apart from the cookery chat, we've done some other things that we've been talking about. What other things have we done?
Looking at old photographs.
Yep.
Yeah, we've been doing stuff like sharing old photos. We've been talking about sort of our hobbies and interests and the kind of things we've been doing to keep ourselves entertained and positive and feeling good. So, and yeah, just like we usually pick one every day to talk about, don't we? And just to keep it interesting. So we're trying to come up with new ideas every day and just keep it all positive, really. So
Yeah.
Just take the mickey up for that.
We're gonna do bingo.
yeah.
Oh wow.
Hoping to do
Do a
bingo.
bingo. Nice.
Yep.
Lisa's
Gonna be.
an online line dancing class.
Not into line dancing at all.
No.
Karen and Phil,
Andy is supposedly sorting out quiz questions so we can do a quiz.
Okay. I thought you were going to say
So that
something
should
like
be
you'd be
interesting.
doing a makeup tutorial or something like that. Is what I was expecting.
that's the idea, Nathan.
Well, you're a famous YouTuber now, and me and you, Andy, we're both famous on YouTube, so it's fine.
So Karen and Phil are organising how to cut your hair at home.
Oh no.
Um,
I could have going to play it on Saturday.
did you?
Yeah.
Very good.
I think I might have to watch. I might have to tune in for that one. To be fair, it's getting a bit out of hand. Like,
And Paul and your mum are the only subscribers so far to my Keep Fit with Andy class.
Well, I don't know what to say about that one.
But when do you only join in? When she's had a few gins?
So hopefully for everyone that's joined us to the tutorial session, this gives an idea about how our group works. We normally have about 12 to 13 people in the room. We're on gallery view at the moment, which means that we can see everyone in the room. One of the things that's really important is that, because otherwise it gets a bit overwhelming, if people learn to kind of talk in a different way, so don't talk over each other. Sam's done some ground rules for all of us, and that's just to keep us all working together and safe. One of the ones that I keep messing up is don't eat or drink on the line.
Well, you can drink, you just can't eat. No eating.
and definitely mute the mic. Definitely have that mic muted. If you
Yeah.
need something.
Yeah.
So I guess it's really, really been useful for our group, and hopefully it'll be really useful for other people that have joined us today. I'm not allowed in our group anymore to share any more jokes. And everyone's been so supportive in that way. So hopefully that's been really useful.
Andy, Sam and I were on a call yesterday with Learning Disability England, and there was 38 people in the Zoom room.
Really?
Yeah, me.
Yeah.
It worked. We were all on mute, and we just unmuted if we needed to speak.
Yeah. And that,
A lot of people used the chat. It was really good, wasn't it, Sam?
It was, at first it was a bit, me and Matthew just went, oh. But actually, the fact that everybody muted and took turns and you could chat using the little chat buttons, it was actually a really good meeting and nice to see that many people coming together.
Yeah,
it was. I mean, we've met a new group called Ace Angular. Have you heard of them, Andy?
Anglia, Ace Anglia.
Yeah.
So they've created a guide for the Zoom calls, which we're going to add to the end of this link.
Yeah. Well, that's where we learned about it, because I sent you all the links for it. They've done loads of stuff. But yeah, we had 2 screens. You had like a little arrow at the side to actually take you along to see there was that many people there. So
brilliant.
It was really good. It was quite amazing to watch, actually.
So it's really brilliant that we can hear from everyone that's joined us today. So Philip, the only person that didn't say what they liked was yourself. So how's it been for you using Zoom with your family?
It was difficult.
Yeah.
It was at first.
Yeah.
But I think it's changed these days because he was starting to get bored, and it means that he's got something to occupy his mind with. Something to look forward to, wasn't it?
Yeah, brilliant. And that's really good to hear that it's creating a little bit of a structure in your day, Phil.
And Phil gets to look at my beautiful face every day. So
and mine.
Can we just say, when we are speaking, if we do a bingo, Andy can't call the bingo because he thinks the 10 is on its own.
Karen, I was going to ask my husband to do it.
Oh, as long as Andy doesn't, because he thinks number 10 is on its own.
Haytham?
Yeah.
I think we've already covered online bullying.
Yeah. So if you are being bullied and your name isn't Andy Fox, then you report to the police.
So,
if not, just get on with it, really. You're just going to have to crack on with it, mate. Sorry.
I'm really glad that this has been recorded.
It's all warranted. Honestly, Andy, it's absolutely all warranted.
Yeah.
So, unless anyone's got anything else,
Sorry about that, by the way. My computer went and froze, and I couldn't.
It's all right.
It just went and froze. Everyone went.
Yeah. To be fair, it shows how easy it was to get back in. Although I think it might have crashed again a little bit.
Yeah.
By the oh no, she's back. Yeah. So yeah, it was quite easy for you to get back in, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The meeting crashed, but you still had that link to go back to that you click on it, bring you back to this meeting.
Yes. Yeah. I was able to go back into it.
So
And if it does go off altogether, because it's happened to me, you just go back to the original link you used. You just click back again, and it just takes you back in again straight away.
Yeah.
So it's nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
So can we say a massive thank you to Haytham, to Media Savvy, for helping our team and lots of people, hopefully, across Sunderland and the North East, find out about different ways of staying connected. It's been a pleasure to work with you, Haytham.
No, guys, honestly, thank you so much for letting us in. Obviously, this is probably a little bit daunting to have the session recorded and stuff. So, massive thank you for letting us in here. And I've got a few things that'll be updated in the video that weren't quite in it. So I'll get those across to you so you guys can have a little proof of them as well. And if there's anything else, if there's anything else you guys are struggling with and that you are using that you think more people might want to know about, let us know and we can try and pull something else together.
Definitely.
Can we also say big thank you to Lizzie, to Fraser, for Matthew, for the other people that have joined us today, giving us some brilliant questions. It's really pleasing to see that Fraser's just responded that he now has Zoom.
Yeah, good stuff.
excellent.
Lizzie's also kept us right with accessible information and how important that is. And really, really appreciate once again everyone joining us. If you're following us on the catch up, hopefully this has been really useful. Any questions? If you've got anything negative you like to say, My name's Haytham.
Oh wow. My name's send it to Dan Machiavelli or whatever his name is, and he can deal with them ones. He's fine.
But you have forgot to say something, Haytham, about what feedback.
Oh yes. So feedback wise, I'm just frantically opening another tab because I've realised I forgot about it. There is a little survey, if I can remember the password to log in, to send you guys. So I will get that survey and post a link in the chat. So if you guys can hang on for a couple of minutes, let me just find the survey. Stay connected with Zoom. That's the one. Oh God! Now I'm panicking, Andy. I can't believe you've done this to me now. Again, this is what it looks like when a man starts sweating. It's not great.
So Melanie's here, Haytham. So Mel, could you add the link to the chat?
I think I've got it now. I believe so. We're in Zoom, staying connected. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna post that in the chat now. If you guys could take it, it should take between 40 seconds and a minute for you guys to fill that in. And it's a few short questions and it's feedback on today. And it is really valuable to us because we don't know what kind of job we're doing. We're sort of just doing it and hoping for the best at the minute. So it'd be great to give us some feedback and hopefully it's constructive rather than negative. If it is anything, there's also a bit in there for optional sort of comments. So if it's something that you think we've missed or you want to see in the future as well, let us know. And like I say, it's really valuable, so we really appreciate your time on that one. If you could do, please. And the title of the session for today, I'll put that in there as well, was Staying Connected with Zoom. So that's in the chat there as well. Cool.
Okay. I've got one more thing to ask.
Yeah.
I'm just going to take, if everyone's all right, a quick video just to say stay connected on my phone. Is that all right?
Sure.
So do you want us to say stay connected?
Yes, please.
Okay. On 3 or just when? What?
Yeah, when, Andy?
1, 2, 3.
Stay connected.
Connected.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to take it. This is what me...
It was on selfie mode, wasn't it, the whole time?
1, 2, 3.
Stay connected.
Stay connected.
Hurrah!
Woohoo. Right, sorted.
That was Inception. That's a video inside a video now. So
Inside of a live stream.
Action, yeah.
Yeah, we're cool. Yeah, just a big deep breath out because now we're sort of. I've been talking for an hour and a half, but yeah. Once again, guys, just a massive thank you.
Yeah, thank you as well.
Thanks for your help as well today, Andy. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
I'll get out your hair now, and I'll wrap the stream.
Haytham, just before you go,
Yeah.
just so you know, Andy's classic pictures. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm going to.
Yeah, it's the boat, isn't it? You hear the boat and it's like, oh no. And then that's it. That's when the beads of sweat just start coming down. Like, oh, just 2 seconds. I just need to change.
How do I leave this meeting?
Bottom right, Andy. Bottom right.
Stuck in the room forever. Oh, he's gone.
Right, guys. Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
Thank you. Bye.
Nice to see you,
Bye. Good to see you
Haytham.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Right, guys. So I am now out of that Zoom meeting. So I'm going to end the stream there. Thank you for coming along. And listening in to me and Andy sort of blather on for about an hour and a half. Like I say, I'm going to put my email in the chat now, and I'm hopefully going to spell it right, and I will make sure it's in the link in the description. There'll probably be some updates posted. Like Mel says, we've got a Staying Connected stream on later on today at about 4 o'clock. That's starting. So keep updated with that on our Facebook and obviously our YouTube. We've got a it's Cooking on a Budget, or Healthy Eating on a Budget. So if you guys are interested in that, stay tuned on our, like I say, subscribe to our YouTube channel, get some reminders and some links to that, as well as Facebook. Send the Facebook page a message if you've got any questions, or myself in an email, and I'll put some more information in the description of this video at some point as well. So cheers for today, guys, and take care. Bye. Bye then.